talking away. Okay. Welcome everybody to the Sacramento Speaker and Entrepreneur Network. This is the live webinar for November 2018. And there's a lot of noise in the background. If you're in a noisy place, please mute yourself so I don't have to mute everybody. I am Katrina Sawa, the organizer and speaker, author, and a business coach here in the Sacramento, California area. But these webinars are for anybody, anywhere, luckily. So there might be there's people all over the country here. So that's awesome. And this is a great way to network, not only with just the people in the local area, but to network across the country as well with other speakers. And like I said, we have experienced speakers like Chuck and me and Johnny's experienced, and I don't know who else is. Cindy, you speak a lot. I don't know. Terry's a pretty good speaker. Michelle. I mean, there's a lot of you guys that are experienced as well as the newer speakers. So, but as you know, you got to show up on time to get introductions. So I want to get that rolling here. And don't forget, is there anybody new to Zoom? Whether you're on the phone or video, raise your hand or say, hey, me. Everybody knows what Zoom is. Okay, good. So if you're on the video, then open the chat room, which is on the bottom. It says chat. If you're on the phone, unfortunately you can't chat, but when you do say your name and who you are, I will attempt to type in what you say, at least the basics, name and website. So give us your website, who you are, what you do, what you speak on, ideally, and what your website is. And this is also a good opportunity to say if you have an event coming up or a teleclass or a webinar, you will have a chance to put anything you want into the chat room though. So throughout the call, you can put anything you want in the chat room, and I copy those contents into the document that then goes on the web page that you can look at with the replay. So you can always review. So it's like, oh my God, I knew that Terry had something and I can't remember. So when I send out the replay, you're going to want to look at that chat room contents because I'm sure she'll have a link in there for you. Okay. So, and I'll send out the replay to the whole entire list as well, which is 2,600 members on Meetup. So if you're on this call, then you're on my Meetup group, which is obviously we do a luncheon, but we also do this monthly webinar as well. So if you're not signed up for the luncheon tomorrow yet and you want to be, please go to the Meetup now and do that because I've got a tally going and I really need to get a list. So please, please, please do that if you can. It's a different group of people and kind of a different dynamic and as well different topics too. Any questions before we dive into introductions for those who are here? No? Okay, great. So this group is all about helping you jumpstart your business, your speaking career, making more money in your business or speaking, anything you need to do and anything you can do to start speaking more, make money in your business. All of it goes hand in hand in my mind. And speaking real quick, we can talk about speaking as a marketing strategy, which is the lead generator to get clients into your business. Or we can talk about getting paid speaking gigs as well. So there's opportunity there as well. If you're a paid speaker, you want to go into corporate and you want to get paid speaking gigs, we can talk about either one of those later tonight. And you know, this is going to be an open discussion. I'll lead the way with that discussion, but there's a lot of experience on the line, so I'd love all your guys' input. So is there anybody, I know a couple people have popped on, anybody that doesn't know what they're doing with Zoom and the introductions of what we normally do? It's about 30 seconds of an intro. Yeah.
Not yet. I'm waiting for you.
Oh, who said? Is that Veronica?
I didn't say anything.
Someone on the phone. Okay. Any question? All right. Well, let's start with Veronica, since you're up in my left top corner. Make sure too, if you don't see it like the Brady Bunch where you see square, 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 square all over the page and you see one big old picture and then a bunch on the top, I would recommend looking at gallery view. So look at the top of the screen. If you hover over the top, if you're talking right now, we can hear you. So if you can mute yourself, I'm not sure who that is. That'd be great.
Oh.
Yeah, so somebody probably on the phone is talking. So if you could mute yourself, that'd be great. So just go up to the very top on the left-hand side and it'll say speaker view. if
Right.
you're in the right
If
view.
it doesn't work, you can look at other things when you're up there.
So
Okay.
usually with people who are on the phone, it's a little harder to mute because they don't have the control. So
I know, I'm muting them right now. It's okay. And if you're looking at the top and it says gallery view, then you probably are looking at one big old person with a whole bunch of little people on the top. So maybe switch it. So that's just my suggestion. And it looks like people are already putting stuff in the chat room. So keep putting what you do and who you are and your links in the chat room. And you know what's really cool is if you attend these every month, then you want to have a Word document saved so you could just copy and paste into the chat room. You don't have to want to rewrite it again, right? Unless you have a new thing coming up. So, all right, Veronica, you're on 30 seconds, girl. I'm going to be clocking you just because we got a lot of people here tonight.
Okay, so I'm Veronica, and I
Talk a little bit louder if you can.
yeah. Okay, can you hear me better?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm a spiritual mentor and intuitive, and I've been doing it for about 10 years. And I went to Katrina's thing probably 2 years ago, and then right after that, my husband was diagnosed with ALS, and he just passed away. And so I am in the process of re-emerging into working, and so I went to my first write-up today, writing group. So writing and speaking is the direction I want to go. So I'm happy to.
Well, I'm sorry about your husband, but yay, we have to emerge, right? Awesome. Okay, Terry.
Hi, everybody. I'm Terry Rose, Love and Lifestyle Coach with Blissify Your Life, and I support men and women in divorce, separation, empty nesting, and I help them find their inner voice and create greater freedom in their life by speaking up and emerging empowered through the process of that life transition.
Awesome. Thank you. And Cindy. Here, I'll unmute. There you go. Oh, there you go.
Hi, everybody. Sending everybody love. I have work going on in the background of my house. It's excessively noisy. So on this particular one, I'm not going to introduce myself, but I'm Cindy, everybody. Sending love.
Oh, we can hear you. You know, it's not that bad. So you could just say, hello, I do this. And then, okay. All right. All right. We'll put it in the chat. Okay, Michelle, you're on.
Hi there, I'm Michelle Mariscal. I'm a resilience coach specializing in grief and loss, and my condolences, Veronica. And I have put in the chat the workshop I have coming up on Sunday that is a grant-funded effort for veterans. So I put the information in the chat, have them contact me if you have veterans in your life.
Awesome. Thank you. Chuck. And then Johnny, you're up. We'll give you guys a heads up. Chuck, Johnny, Whitney, in that order. Okay.
Chuck Hooper, business intelligence consultant, speaker, author, speaker coach, and suffering tremendously from imposter syndrome, but I'm working on that.
You goofball.
That's enough.
What do you speak on? Tell us what you speak on.
I speak on critical and creative thinking and a lot of business intelligence topics. I've got a new one that I'm working on now that's more inspirational, motivational. The title is The Man in the Back of the Room.
The name in the back of the room.
The Man in the Back of the Room.
Oh, okay.
Hopefully you'll hear it.
Hopefully. Thank you. Johnny.
And my website is johnnyluhan.com. Building that in the process. But I speak on overcoming challenges. I speak a lot to kids called Prepare for Impact. I help people find the courage to change the things they can and overcome their challenges. I do some corporate speaking. I speak on kind of relational communication, a lot of franchise that has a lot of younger folks in there. They call it middle managers, but they're really immature adults trying to lead other people. So I try to do that too in a lot of small franchises.
Awesome. And Whitney, you're on. Oh, there you go.
Everyone. Thanks, Katrina. Whitney Wiley with Shifting into Action, and I am not speaking currently. working on a couple of different programs related to career management and transitions. I am a coach helping clients through those issues currently moving into leadership and navigating their careers.
Awesome. Thank you for being here. How about, I got next Barbara Ellison, and then Corey, and then Rhonda. Hold on, Barbara. We can't hear you. There you go.
I had to get my unmute button. Unmute button. I am Barbara Ellison, and I support women in business. Can't talk. I support women in business to increase their impact in their relationships and their income through personality training and teaching them how to communicate with others.
Awesome. Thank you. And you put your website over there somewhere?
I'll put it in the chat. Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, Corey.
Hey, everybody. I'm Corey Abel. I live over in Florida, and I am with Abundant Oil Life. I'm a wellness advocate with doTERRA. I'm also a recent breast cancer conqueror, and I have always wanted to be a motivational speaker and never found my platform. And through the cancer and healing myself alternatively and integratively, I am now finding my footing to reach, to start. I'm a baby speaker. I haven't done any yet. So that's why I'm joining you all. And I am here to help people as a wellness advocate.
Awesome. Good job for coming up, showing up. All right, Rhonda, and then Renee and Kieran.
Hello. Whitney, I love your awesome green stuff back there on that wall. Hey, this is Rhonda Liebig. I'm known as the Energy Revitalizer and Mindset Mentor. And I have a couple books out, but I have this one next to me. I'm learning we're supposed to hold our book up here, so I got to be proud. This is one of my books I've released. And with this is real special. I run a couple businesses, but one of them I'm really loving on. It's called The Fresh Inspiration. And we are on a tour right now, and that's where I get to support other wellness leaders, spiritual light workers, and we go out there and we speak and we go to different communities. So I'm really excited to be here.
Awesome. Thank you. Renee, then Kieran.
Hi, everyone. I am Renee Balcom, and I'm so excited to be here with all of you. I'm so impressed with those of you that are speakers. I'm an aspiring speaker. I have a business name called Renee and Company, and we work to serve the personal family caregiver, private family caregiver. I'm a certified health advocate, so I've been working in family care for about 12 years. I have such a heart and a passion for the family caregiver and their isolation and their need for education and resources. And so I really am developing a platform for speaking and drawing love towards that workforce, support towards that workforce, and really just trying to elevate the camaraderie and the love that we need to show to this 47 million family caregivers that are providing care to their loved ones today.
Awesome. So important.
Thank you.
All right, Karan. Oh, we can't hear you. You're unmuted, but we can't hear you. Nope, you're muted. Try one more time. You're unmuted, and we should be able to hear you, but we can't. So look around your microphone real quick. Let me go to a couple other people, and I'll come back to you. Jay Hornbuckle, and then Tanya, and then there's a 530 area code. Go ahead, Jay. Hey, first timer on this call. Good to see you.
Yeah, hey, how you doing? So Jay Hornbuckle, I'm the president of Sacramento for CEO Space International, doing business acceleration for entrepreneurs in California.
Awesome. I didn't know you were such a big wig. I thought you were just running some local Folsom chapter. Good for you. I think you put your link in the chat already, right?
I did.
Awesome. Okay. I keep looking at that to try to get there. You guys want to check out with Jay if you need to connect with other entrepreneurs for sure. Let's see. Tanya. Which Tanya is it? Tanya
Riaz.
Tanya Rios. Yay, we can hear you now.
Hello. I'm Tanya Rios, and I am a health coach, and I focus on binge eating or emotional eating, which is big this time of year. And I also am a EFT practitioner, and I also lost my voice at Katrina's event this past week. So use my voice.
How did you lose your voice when I was doing all the talking? No, I'm just kidding.
I'm not sure. I don't know. So thank you.
Well, you were a networking fool, so that's cool. And do you have a website? I'm trying to type in for you.
Yes, it's TanyaRiosHealthCoach.com.
Okay. Alrighty. Cool. Thank you. And then there's a 530 area code person on the phone. Can you hear me?
Yes, I'm the 530 area code person. I'm Jill Saffron.
Hi, Jill.
And hi. And I am a mindfulness practitioner and a writer and an aspiring speaker. I have written a book on Wattpad called Chronic Laughter for Chronic Illness. It's free if you go to @mindfulhumor. And also, if you would like some daily mindfulness tips, you can go to @mindfulhumor on Twitter. If you follow me, I'll follow you. And my website is in progress, as Katrina knows, but it's mindfulhumor.net.
.net. Okay. All right, I got that in the chat. Way to go. Let's see. Karen.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can. Yay.
Oh, perfect. Hello, everyone. I'm Kiran Yella. I'm a business excellence consultant. Currently, I'm working full-time, but I'm also having my own consulting business where I coach people on setting up or improving their business through process excellence. And currently, I'm working on 2 books. One is about how to apply Lean Six Sigma principles in your personal life or at work. And another book, it's a compilation that I'm working with Katrina Sawa about Jumpstart Your Excellence. I'm really excited about it, and I look forward to learn from you all on, yes, that's the one. That's an exciting one. And yeah, today I'm really looking forward to learn about how to get started as a speaker. And I haven't tried any speaking gigs yet, but I would like to definitely get my hands on how to do it. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, we're going to talk about that today a little bit. And there's 6 of you guys on this book, and this is just a mock-up, but Chuck's in it, Johnny's in it, Michelle's in it, Karen's in it, Tanya is in it, and I'm in it. And so there's 26 authors on the back, and we're going to be launching it hopefully at the end of this month. If not, it's going to be this year. I'm like working on it right now, you guys. So that's amazing. So I got everybody who's on live, right? Did I get everybody? Okay. And then I'm trying to think. So I'm Katrina Sawa. Some of you know, most of you, all of you, I think, know me. And what I do, a couple things just in case you're not totally paying attention to some of the emails. I did just send an email to the SAC speaker list today, like an hour or 2 ago, about some speaking and sponsorship opportunities. So you might want to look at the Meetup email from Meetup. Because there's some opportunities for speaking next year, as well as not just in this group, but other things. And then sponsoring some of my live events as well. So look at that. I also have some upcoming events. I have one December 13th in Roseville. It's a Thursday all day, and it's about your technology, your back-end technology. So you bring your laptops, and it's only going to be like 15 people or so. And we're going to be working on your autoresponders, your funnels, your websites, your shopping carts, your email marketing, social media, all the things you don't know what you're doing with. I'm going to show you how to do it, and that's a hands-on workshop. And if you sign up tonight, I'll give you a link to sign up for $197. It's $397 on the website. And the reason it's $397 because you get me in a very small group telling you what to do and showing you everything about the back end of your website and all your stuff. So If you know how to do it, then you probably don't need to come. But if you don't know how to do that, you need to learn how to do some stuff in the techie realm so you can move faster. So that one is Thursday, December 13th. And then I just added a Get Started Speaking seminar on Friday, February 22nd. And it's going to be $197, and if you guys sign up tonight, it'll be $97. Or if you sign up by tomorrow or whatever, you don't have to sign up at midnight, but whatever. It's, you know, if you sign up in the next day, then I'll give you it for $100 off, because I don't want, again, I only want like 30 people, and it's all the stuff that I could potentially talk about here, but I had limited time. And it's going to be hands-on again, probably 30 people or less, working on your speaker sheets, your positioning, your website stuff, anything you need to really make sure you are positioned to get booked as a speaker. So it's positioning, planning, and preparation stuff. And some of you probably already have all that in place. You don't need it, and that's fine. So my advanced speaker boot camp in the summer will be great for that. But if you're not started speaking yet, then you might want the February 22nd one. And then tomorrow morning at 9 a.m., I'm doing a 2-part business planning webinar series. And that one's only $57 for 2 sessions. It's tomorrow from 9 to 10 Pacific, maybe a little bit longer tomorrow. And then the second one is next Wednesday at 9 for an hour. And it'll be on Zoom, and I'll probably have my flip charts out, and we'll go around the room, and it probably won't be more than 15 people, I'm guessing, because honestly, I just did this for some of my clients, and so if any of you want to join me, I mean, it's priced at $57, so it's stupid cheap. And I had a whole process I did on Sunday with my mastermind clients about this planning, and we brought out the flip charts, and there's 5 areas that a lot of people don't think about, and when plotting out your calendar and your marketing and your business strategy for the year, and that's what we're going to be working on. So I know that's a lot of stuff, but I'll put it all in the chat room, and I'll send you an email about it. But the thing tomorrow morning should be in your inbox from if you're on my email list, and you got to get advantage of that right now, because I don't have time to individualize it all right now. So okay. So we want to get into the discussion about getting started speaking. Like I said, there's some experts on the line here. Chuck's been speaking forever, and he's more of a paid speaker. So if you have questions, we might chime in with him. And a lot of us have been speaking in general. I'm all about using speaking as a lead generation strategy. So I use it more as a free marketing strategy. I have gotten paid to speak before, but that's not my focus, because if I go to speak somewhere for pay, like 5,000 or 10,000 or even a couple thousand, then usually I can't sell in the back end. I can't sell, you know, maybe you could sell your books if you're a paid speaker, but I can't sell usually what I want to sell, or even a couple $100 offer if you're being paid to speak. The goal is they just want you to speak and impart wisdom, right? So I do this free speaking model typically because I can capture everybody in the room with either a drawing or a giveaway or some kind of special offer. I don't always sell from the stage, even if I'm allowed to sell, because frankly, I think, especially if you're in front of an audience that doesn't know you very well, they aren't always ready to buy, even if it's only 97 bucks or 50 bucks or something. So I like to do, sometimes I'll do a low price offer, which I call an easy yes offer. And then I might also offer a free thing. So I have a this or that offer. So I always, to get started speaking, you want to think about why you're speaking, what you're funneling people into first, before you worry about what you're speaking about, in my opinion. Because all of you can speak about whatever your expertise is. Even if for Corey you sell, you know, essential oils, it doesn't matter. You don't speak about necessarily, oh, this is this oil and this is that oil and this is what it's for. You don't necessarily have a talk on that. You have a talk in general. And then you should negotiate a table in the back of the room and or other opportunities for you to get exposure with your business, in my opinion. And that's where they necessarily will find out what you sell and what you offer. So I want to know, like, what are some of the biggest questions you guys have about getting started speaking? And then we can I have like a 6-step thing that I'll go through quickly, but we want to also make sure that we cover some of the questions you might have. Raise your hand if you're in video so I know you have a question. And then if you're on audio, okay, so Cindy and Michelle, if you're on audio, if you could unmute real quick and say, like, Jay, I have a question, or Tanya, I have a question, or whatever. All right. So Cindy, Michelle, what's your question? You're unmuted, and then Cindy next.
Yeah, my question is, I've been speaking for years in the training and development realm. And so I'm really trying to understand how to structure, like speaking for my product, now that I have product, a book and a class. So it's really understanding the structure of how to put together
your talks. Okay.
With those marketing aspects in mind.
Sure. Okay. How to structure your talks. What about you, Cindy? What's your biggest question? I can't hear you. Unmute. Hold on. There you go. Go ahead. Oh.
How funny. You unmuted, but we were going back and forth. So I was born with a very rare birth defect, and I wrote a book about it. And I have this whole desire, because it's very rare, and a lot of the medical community doesn't know about it. So I'd like to speak at the college level to medical professionals, and I have not a clue on who is it that I contact to try to get my information to them to get started with that. So that's my question.
You want to speak at the college level for what?
Okay, so think of like a medical university.
Medical university.
New doctors that are going out there and going to be doing, their new job, and they need to be medical school. They need to be educated. And who is the person on the college level that is the contact to get books? That's my question.
Okay. That might take a little research, but there are some in general that you could look at. Okay, cool. And the rest of you are just kind of, I know some of you are speaking already. Those of you that are speaking already, what do you think is the biggest challenge that you might have, or the biggest concern with speaking that you might have if you're already speaking? Quite often. Rhonda, Johnny.
Sure. Can you hear me? I'll chime in.
Yeah.
Go for it, John.
So I speak quite a bit. I get invited to speak a lot of different places. I'm just trying to turn that into money.
Money.
Right? Money. So that's ever since the weekend at Katrina's event, it's just been going through my mind that for many years I've been giving my services away pretty much free, because I've been speaking for 15 years, just churches, recovery groups, corporations, talking to them about how to recognize recovery. And so I just do it because I got a big heart, I guess. And so my mindset is to really find the communication skill to charge.
Communication skill to charge. You think that's a skill?
Well, that's a skill. I guess a mindset, a confidential.
It's I like that. The communication skill to charge. It's called flirt. This is what I charge.
Yeah.
You're cute. Okay. All right. Where's the money though? Okay, got it. Rhonda, how about you? You were saying
I was thinking about in a couple ways. Like what Michelle said, I think people have a hard time knowing what structure that they should do so they can convert their talk into that goes towards a product or towards like an easy yes offer or something. And speaking is also like doing workshops. Some people do workshops, and I find that I've met up with some people that have been doing workshops for a while, but it's been more where they're teaching and giving lots and lots of information. And then they've given so much information, and this can happen in a talk too, in a structure, where you give so much information that you filled somebody up so much that they are like, okay, I've had enough. Now I'm just going to go and I'm going to go practice this. And so I think that learning how the structure of a talk or workshop, whatever you're doing, that it's more like what are you trying to really get out of it, and how can you transition it and level yourself up as an expert and not give too much, but enough to where you're displaying that you are an expert and that you have something that they really want if they are your ideal client. So really building that also through the talk.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. So we'll start with,
I have a question.
Yes.
Sorry, I missed it when we began.
Yes.
So I have kind of a twofold. Where do you get started with how to find your topic? And then do you have more than one topic to speak on?
Okay.
According to whoever you're speaking to.
Sure. All right. Well, let's go, and I have like a 6-step thing, and then we'll dive into and make sure we have some of those questions answered. So there's 6 steps that I typically teach, and I have a whole program on this. I did it live, but we have to prepare for getting speaking gigs. You have to position yourself as the expert, and then you have to really, then you have to just go get the gigs yourself. They're not always going to come to you, and rarely does that happen. So prepare, position, and then propel, basically. Prepare, position, and propel, right? Where do you go to do all of that? So I have too many different documents open here. Okay. All right, so step 1 is determine who you'll talk to and what do they want to hear. So ask yourself, what are you an expert in? And it might be what you're doing for a business. It might be something different, okay? Because just because you do this XYZ for a business doesn't mean you have to speak on XYZ. You can still speak about a story or a situation or something that happened to you or something like that. But if the goal is to sell your stuff in the back of the room or in the follow-up, most of the sales come in the follow-up, you do usually want to know your sales funnel, okay? So, and then who it's for, right? So the sales funnel is going to be, okay, if I'm selling this, let's see, I'm trying to think, most of you have, I would say, programs probably, right? Where you're selling programs. Is there anybody that doesn't sell a program of some sort besides Corey? Chuck, you just sell yourself, right? You sell yourself and your books, right? Okay, and Corey, you sell doTERRA oils. However, so that would be, so you could really speak on anything like wellness. You could speak on your journey. You could be inspirational. You could be more a keynote. You could speak to someone's heart. You could speak to the logistics of alternative healing. There's all kinds of things you could speak on. And actually for that, for you, I would actually recommend you have a couple different talks. And then really it's just in your introduction and how you tell your story that you highlight the fact that you sell doTERRA. So in your talk, you're not necessarily doing doTERRA this, doTERRA that. It's just back of the room, and in your story and your introduction is where you share that. So most of the rest of us have some sort of program, product, or service that we would offer, I would say. And so your talk needs to lead into that thing. Now, if it's a talk online, then you need to have a web page where they can go and find out more and buy, right? If it's a talk in person, then you can take their information in person from them, and then you can follow up, and you don't necessarily even have to have a web page selling your thing. You might still want it, but you don't necessarily have to have it. So think about what you're selling first, and then what you want and what you want people to buy into. Like if I want to sell into the Jumpstart Yourself as a Speaker program, I would do this kind of a talk, right? That's not what I'm selling here, but that's my point is I would have a get started speaking seminar or teleclass, or I would have a 6 steps to jumpstarting yourself as a speaker, and then I would do that talk laying the 6 steps out just like we're doing here, and I would drive you into the online program or a live event, which I do have. So how can you model after what I'm doing is my point. So yes, you have to know what you're selling first. Is there anybody on the line that doesn't know what they're selling as far as Veronica? what are you selling?
So I think that's kind of where I was stuck when I went to yours, and I did a program for a little bit, but then that's when my husband got sick. I am a mentor and I'm very good at what I do. The issue is I'm not interested in working one-on-one. I do want to do more inspiration. And I think it's similar. I think it's to you, Johnny, who does the recovery. A lot of times the groups you might speak to might be, let's say, nonprofit or, whatever. So it does seem like you want to have some kind of book. It's like you're giving a talk, people want more information, and then there's a book. So I think that's the direction I'm going, but I'm clearly needing clarification for myself.
Well, when you're transitioning and doing something completely different or getting back into something, you just, in my opinion, have to do whatever sounds good today as far as what you're selling. And so you pick something, a topic and or a deliverable, a transformation. I'm going to help people blank. And I want to do that in which way? So you have to figure out which way you want to do that. Do you want to do it on Zoom for a 6-week course with a small group of people? Do you want to do it in person at a live event? Do you want to do it one-on-one? Do you want to do it with no access to you at all and just deliver videos and stuff? So first of all, think of how you want to deliver the content you want to deliver, what modules or what types of content you're going to have to include in that process, right? And you want to think of the program. When you think of the program then, so mine ended up being 6 steps to jumpstarting yourself as a speaker. What does yours look like, right? And it doesn't have to be 6 steps, 3 steps, whatever, 3 ways to whatever. Then that can easily just become your talk. You reverse engineer your talk based on what you're selling. That's the easiest way to get started speaking, is know what you're selling and then basically give an overview of that in the talk, okay? And then make sure in the talk that you deliver, you're giving them enough of the problem. The problem today is that blah, blah, blah. And I'm going to share with you 3 keys to help you overcome blah, blah, blah. And then you share those 3 keys, but there's so much more. We have to do deep dive on the blah, 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 that I want to offer you a way to take advantage of working with me on how to really attain that blah, blah, blah. Does that make sense? So it's not like you don't want to give a lot of content in your talk. You do want to give content in your talk, but you also can only do so much, and usually a 20 or 30-minute talk is what most people get. Sometimes you're lucky to get 45 or 60 minutes. If you're lucky enough to get a keynote for 90, great. But usually most talks in front of the room in person are 20, 30 minutes. If you're on something like this and it's your own webinar, you can take up majority of the time, right? Whereas this is kind of a different environment where I don't have as much time. I don't have an hour here, right? So you want to be careful with what you're providing and make sure that it, you can go deep dive on one point, or you can give like an overview appetizer of the things you're going to cover in your program. You don't just say, oh, in my program I do this, in my program I do that. You say, these are the things you need to know, and if you're interested, you can do my program. What were you going to say?
That's the question that, or the thing that's been coming more and more clear to me, is that besides a book, more information that way, I really don't necessarily want to work with groups of people. I've been doing one-on-one classes for a long time, and it's just not where my heart is.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that where I get confused is, with this inspiration, a lot of times it may be motivational, inspirational, and so the product is, here's more information. But again, I don't want to be attached to the information except for maybe getting the proceeds, but not direct contact. So maybe it's video, maybe it's like a DVD, or what I'm saying, whatever, something that's already out there that I don't have to have the later on interaction with. So I think that's into, but that's where I get a little confused.
You can do what we call more of a DIY program for sure, but I recommend that you do it live first, and you get, whether it's a beta, you call it a beta program, and like you have 5 people go through it at a reduced rate so you can actually get it out of you, and you record it and all that good stuff. And then, if you're in front of the room or on a webinar or whatever, you can say, oh, and go buy my program, and then it's over on a website and it's already recorded. But I recommend, if you're going to record it anyways, why not record it live and get paid to do it and get the feedback and or testimonials from people along that process, because you might find that you're going to get a lot of feedback and you might want to tweak that program before you actually launch it DIY. And then like I did a group program. I did the speaker training. I only did one time live, and then I boxed it up. But I have another program, my Jumpstart Your Biz in 90-Day program, that I did literally 8 times over the course of 2.5 years. I did it live 8 times. It was a 90-day program, and I would record it and all that kind of stuff. But I just kept tweaking it, and actually it was a good revenue stream for me to sell into live and do live calls with people. And then once I did it once, they could just listen to the training recording and then come to a live call, which was open Q&A. So it is a great way to, we're kind of side swiping here from the speaking thing. But if you don't know what you're selling and you go out speaking, then you're going to get a lot of compliments, but no cash, right? So you have to be clear on what you're selling into. And even if it's just one-on-one and you don't want to have a group yet, then fine, one-on-one is all. Say, hey, from your talk, you don't even have to make an offer. You could say, for anybody who wants more from me and wants to know more, just drop your card in the thing and let's have a conversation and see if it's a good fit. So that can be your offer at the end of a talk. It could be a free call. It could be a, one-time try me out call for $200 or something simple that people can decide if they like you and then continue from there. So you don't have to do a sale at the end either. It took me many years to actually make an offer at the end of a talk. I would give talks all over town, but I wasn't always comfortable making an offer. So I would just do a drawing, I would collect names, and then I would do really good in the follow-up, and I would make follow-up phone calls and send emails and things like that. So first you have to think of what you're selling and then how you're gonna position the offer. Are you gonna sell something or not sell something? And you might change it. So you have one talk and then just change the end of it, whether you make an offer or don't make an offer, right? So that's part of the structure when you look at the talk. Is that helpful for the people who needed more structure in the talk? And the basic talk structure when you're speaking for leads and sales is you can go out and say, my name's, you can do the introduction, like, let me tell you a little bit about myself, why you should listen to me in the beginning, but I like to get into the meat of what I'm talking about a little bit first, and then weave in my story throughout the talk. Instead of just going, well, let me tell you for 10 minutes about myself, while they're going, hello, I'm waiting for the content you promised to deliver, right? So you can do it either way. I just choose to weave my story in. So and I couldn't do this in the beginning because I wasn't comfortable enough just kind of winging my story here and there or interjecting different comments depending on how the talk went. In the beginning, I had to be much more structured because it was hard for me to remember. I had 3 simple steps to jumpstarting your business and I couldn't remember the 3 steps. Okay, that's how bad it was. So don't feel bad if that's you. Right now I can sing them in my sleep. I could probably do the whole talk in my sleep because I've been doing it for so long. But I literally had to write them down on a piece of paper and put them here, or have slides if I was doing a PowerPoint. And it took me probably 3 years to get doing PowerPoint too. So don't force yourself to do PowerPoint if you don't have to. And especially in a smaller room or a casual type of environment, it's actually worse to do a PowerPoint than just show up and speak, because you can relate to the audience. One of the #1 things that's important when you're speaking is to relate to the audience. So you don't want to be so fumbling with your notes and your PowerPoint that you can't connect with the audience. That's a huge no-no. So any thoughts on that or any of that? Okay. All right. So step #2 would be developing your speaking topics and speaker sheet. So we have to be prepared for the speaking opportunities, because what if someone asks you today that if you are a speaker and you could speak for their event? Now, granted, they're probably asking you for next March, okay, not tomorrow. But if you were asked today to send somebody your speaker topics and description and your headshot and all that and your bio, would you be able to press send like right away? Copy, paste, send. Can anybody not able to do that right now? Okay, so you want to look at developing at least a simple speaker sheet. And it doesn't have to have more than just your topic description or your topic. Let me just give you a screenshot of that. Hold on, let me find one. I think I shut it down. I'll find it in a second, but it has your topic title, the description, which can be 2 paragraphs of who's this for and why they should care, and then 3 to 5 bullet points of what they can learn in the talk, what they'll learn in the talk, and then your full contact information and a short bio, and really a 50-word bio is plenty. Okay, you might want to also, if you have a more wordy bio, you can put 2 options of bios in there. You can put a 50-word, and then you can put a 300-word. It's up to you, and then they can choose which one they want. I would also recommend you have your social media links. Here, I'll share my speaker sheet with you. So there's a lot of stuff on my desktop. Beware here. So this is my master speaker sheet, and it has a cover letter, which you don't need. Okay, you don't need that. You really just need how to list you. I have a logo. Now I would attach my logo and my picture separately in an email, of course. You don't need actually any of this at all. You need contact links for whatever social media that you have. You need bios. So I have a couple short ones and a longer one. Again, 1 bio is fine. You don't have to do all of this. I've been doing this a long time, so I've collected stuff, all right? Then the topics that you do, I'm trying to get it so I could, so I have a lot of topics. The yellow highlight is, so I have 11 topics on my speaker sheet. You don't need 11 topics on your speaker sheet. You just need 1. So ideally, all you need is like your links, your contact information, 1 short bio, and 1 talk description. Could be your title is here. Make more money doing what you love. How do you continuously attract and find new clients? Blah, blah, blah. The biggest mistake small business owners make. What you'll learn from this presentation. 3 bullets. That's it. This is the topic description right here. Okay? It doesn't have to be anything more than that. You have that on 1 sheet or 2 pages. As long as you have that, then you can send off. You can easily send it off. Okay? Now, if you want to have, some of these have an alternate title. So if you have the same talk that you plan on giving, but one's a positive title, one's a negative title, like one focuses on the problem, one focuses on the solution, give an alternate title. You don't have to have 2 topic descriptions, just have 2 titles, right? So you could do that. Now, I also have references down here. So I have testimonials. These are all testimonials of people who I've spoken for, the groups. I have speaker references if people want to call people or email them of people that have booked me, and some bigger significant people. I have a partial list of speaking clients and topics and presentations and radio interviews and memberships and organizations. You don't need all that. Okay, if you have some of it, great. If you don't, though, don't put it because it will look minuscule, you know. So unless you have a few good things to put on, don't put anything. Now, sometimes, how many of you have been asked to be on a podcast before and maybe given questions, submitted questions, right? So I'm getting more and more asked to submit a list of questions. So I actually put a bunch of potential interview questions in here, and there's a ton of them. Now, you could just put 5 questions in. I just happen to put a lot because I have a lot of different topics, and they can choose what questions. So for those of you that are already speaking, you might add some of these things into your speaker sheet. Now, honestly, this speaker sheet is like, I don't know, was it 17 pages long or something? 16 pages long. Again, yours could be 2, 1, okay? And I do it in Word. So I don't send a PDF because most of the people that are booking me want to copy and paste this into their webpage or copy and paste it into Constant Contact or somewhere to email. And they don't want to have to, don't make them figure out how to convert the PDF to a Word document, don't do that. So I send them the Word document. They're not going to change it, right? So I send them the Word document so it's easy for them to copy and paste. And then obviously send the picture separately so it's higher resolution. If you send a picture inside of a Word document, it's not helpful. It's not, yeah, it's just not going to work. All right. So that's all really you need for a speaker sheet. And then when someone says, yes, what do you speak on? Send me your information. You could just go boop and send them a quick email with that document, and you know, they can decide to book you or not. It's that simple. So those are some of the things that we do at the Get Started Speaking workshop. Yeah, question?
I'm like, oh my God, that's like overwhelming, even putting that together. We're talking about how simple it is, and I'm going, holy cow.
You know, let me just say, it's not overwhelming when you start, because you should only have one topic.
One topic.
That topic is what grows. I think if Katrina took all 11 of her topics, she could encompass them all into one called How to Run a Speaking Business. Could all be one. But,
well, my one topic is make more money doing what you love, because I talk about the 3 simple steps to attracting clients, which goes into more how to get in front of more people more often in more ways, which encompasses all the different marketing strategies that are in all those talks. And so I could go deep dive on social media, deep dive on speaking, deep dive on any of that, and still have the same structured talk. Yes. So I didn't come across that though in the beginning. Like I was like, like I didn't realize that till like just a few years ago. So I would like, oh, I have to have the talk on this and then a talk on that. So no, one talk. And luckily for you, Corey, we're working together one-on-one, and you'll get my template, and then we'll be able to plug and play with your stuff. So that's how easy it is when you get a template. It's just replace my stuff with your stuff, done deal, moving on. But if you spend too much time on this, are you ever going to say yes to a speaking gig? Because you can't get them the stuff, right? Same thing goes if you're trying to apply for a conference online, and they've got the online fill-in form, and they want your bio, and they want your topic description, and they want your 3 bullets, right? You got to have this stuff to copy paste into those forms. So this is the stuff that you got to get prepared on to do. And I can help you do that one-on-one or at the workshop in February, whatever you want to do. I just want to cover a couple more steps real quick, because I want to make sure that we give a shout out to some of you who are doing stuff on your website, or I'm sorry, if you have a speaking gig or whatever. So get prepared. If you have a free gift or a speaking gig coming up, I want to make sure you share it. So step 3 is strategize on where to get gigs. So there's a lot to know about where to get gigs, and all of you might be looking in different places. But I mean, the first place I go is I go to Google and I search, and now you can search on Facebook too. And sometimes I run across things that are already in the works, and they look like they already have their speaker, and I might still contact them and say, hey, if one of your speakers backs out, I'd love to be considered as a backup. Or there's all kinds of things you can do to get some speaking gigs. Step number 4 is craft your presentation. So then once you get the gig, don't craft your presentation until you get the gig, please. Because what if they want a different title, or what if they want a different spin on it? Don't go perfecting this presentation and go, okay, now I'm perfectly perfected with this presentation. Who wants to book me? And then what if nobody wants to book you with that? So don't do that, because you'll have plenty of time to perfect the presentation once you get booked, okay? So don't do that yet. And then designing your accompanying marketing materials. So that's step number 5. So once you get booked and you know what you're doing for your talk, then we have to figure out, okay, what's going to be in the back of the room? Do you have a book? Do you have a downloadable ebook? Do you have a free gift? Do you have a setup? Do you have a floor sign? Do you have a tabletop sign? Some of the marketing materials are good. I just developed these new, if I can reach one, cool little brochure things that I pass out when I speak. And I can reach it. And they're fun. They're just these little cards, and it basically is the 8 secrets to consistent money making business. And then on the inside it has the 8 steps, which is my new keynote, right? And then on my social on the back. And so basically, here's my talk, basically. So if I want to go and pass these out everywhere, then they can take notes in here and they can walk away with this. And so marketing materials is important, but you don't have to spend a lot of money.
Those are nice.
Say again?
Those are nice.
Thank you. And then step number 6 is following up after a speaking gig. Everybody falls down on that. I mean, you'll see speakers all the time that go in and speak somewhere and they capture as much as they can, right, as far as leads and money in sales, and then you'll never hear from them again because they don't have a follow-up set up in place. So don't do that. That's critical. That's where most of my sales are made, in the follow-up. And it's not just email. It's email, phone, direct mail, and social media follow-up. So so there's a lot to know as far as really how to monetize the speaking in your business. But I'm telling you, speaking is the #1 marketing strategy that I use to book everything. And I'm in multiple 6 figures. You've got to be speaking, whether it's in person, virtual, you got to be speaking all the time. This week is crazy. I'm speaking here. I'm speaking tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. on a call for the Women's Prosperity Network. You can come to that, actually. It's at 6 a.m. Pacific, if anybody wants to join me. It's not Zoom, so we don't have to be ready. But
I'll be there.
Right? Yes, you will. But it'll be 9 for you. Thank you. And that is on making easy yes offers. And then tomorrow is my webinar on business planning. So I'm doing the business planning webinar at 9. And then I've got the luncheon for the SAC speaker, which is this group, tomorrow. So 3 speaking gigs in one day, right? Technically. And then I've got a speaking gig on Friday in Orange County and Saturday in the Bay Area. I mean, you've got to get started speaking. And so you cannot put this off any longer. And so I want to answer more questions. I'm happy to stay a little later. If does anybody have to go and it has a burning question? Check. Any burning question or something going on that we can support you with?
Katrina, I have a question.
Chuck, hold on one second.
Oh,
Chuck?
no question. I just have to leave right at 6, which is like in 12 seconds.
Okay. Do you have any speaking gigs coming up, Chuck?
Yeah, I'll be doing 2 presentations on Friday and 1 on Tuesday.
Okay, nothing we can
in
come
the
to.
next few days. Nothing that anybody else can attend. They're all associations.
Okay.
Good luck, Chuck.
Thanks, Chuck. All right, we'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you.
And,
Good seeing you.
Awesome. So, Rhonda, what were you saying?
I have a question. I was at your 3-day retreat. Woo, woo, it was awesome.
Woo, woo.
And I'm still reeling and enjoying in that space. And you brought up something, but you brought it up again about how important it is to do the follow-up. And I know that when I wasn't doing it, that my income was lower. And then when I learned to do stuff that made me feel uncomfortable, and then I started being able to play with it after practice, I realized how, yeah, that's where some of the main money is the follow-up. So when you're doing the back-to-back speaking, like what you were saying in your retreat, your workshop, they spoke at like 3 different places. It was probably within a week or something like that. Some traveling and stuff. What's your strategy? Sometimes it does take a bit to get to the people that you may have went and spoke in front of. Do you find that the further out that you go, that it may be harder to connect and really translate for some of that income flow? And if you're speaking that much, what's the strategy that you do to make sure you're trying to get on top of it and keep the energy going with those back-to-back speaking engagements?
Right. So you've got to hire a team, right? You've got to hire people to do the data entry. So if you come back, I literally still have follow-up from like 4 events, you guys. It's insane on my desk. And my desk I hate it cluttered. This one is Joe Lubzen's event, all these people, and this one is the Unconference in Orlando. I still have some people calling there. This is still from eWomen Conference in Dallas in the summer. So these are all people that have to be called and followed up with. Now, they're already in the computer, and they're already getting emails, but in case you aren't aware, most people aren't paying attention to email as much anymore. So you have to call in other ways. You have to phone call. I just got a box of postcards, so now I have to get the direct mail out. So I'm hiring a new in-person assistant locally. I have 3 virtual assistants, but they're not really the follow-up people. They're not the ones that are going to make the phone calls. Yeah. And I would love to make the phone calls, but when you're back to back to back, you just have to start delegating it. And it's not very many people actually that can do phone calls like that or want to do phone calls. You got to have the right person with the right energy and the right, you know, person that's going to move the person to something. And so it's not easy. And so I just finally had to bite the bullet again, because I should have done it like months ago, but I didn't have somebody. And so a couple people just recently came in my awareness in this local area. So,
ooh,
yeah.
Share.
I might have to share. Yes. And actually, she's in this group. She's not on the call, but she's in the group. So I'm going to see if it's going to work out for that kind of an admin follow-up person, because it's critical. It's critical. You cannot drop the ball and go months and months and months, or your leads are cold and they don't even remember who you are when you call them. And then it's like, who are you calling from? Where are you calling from? You know, I even have trouble like 4 days later. I'm like, it's Katrina. I met you the other day. What? Who? Which one were you? You know, I'm like, oh, good Lord. Okay, I was the one in the red dress. I was giving away the fun, you know, la, la, la.
I think it's sometimes they even know you, but they forget the excitement that they had in that moment.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So when you're in the moment, you've got to get your phone out and you got to say, okay, let's schedule our call, right? Or you have to have order forms and you have to get people signed up. You have to get people signed up on forms. And so if you don't get them right then and get them engaged with your services, then you're going to, you know, they might move on to the next solution for their problem.
I had something else to add, is that, you know, when you started talking about like order forms and carrying things and stuff, it made me feel uncomfortable when I first started thinking about it. Like, oh my gosh, it's like so salesy. But you know what I find is that I agree with you, because if you have a good conversation, somebody want to be filling that information out so that they get to, you know, have that conversation or talk with you. So I think it's a mindset thing too, with the follow-up or having something instantly there so that they can fill stuff out.
You do. And even if it's just, I do a drawing slip, I do what I call a drawing slip. So it just takes their full contact information and then it asks them, and I have one here. So it says, like, this is what all these forms are. And it asks, all these little things down here are things that I help people with. So it asks them things like, are you interested in marketing and sales training? Are you interested in website designer updates? How about becoming an author or speaker or live event training, social media video? And they would just check all the different boxes that they want to know. And so when I call them back, I said, oh, you said you were interested in video marketing. I'd love to see if we can have a conversation to help you with that, right? So it's much easier to make the follow-up phone calls when you have a little bit more information from your prospects. Don't just take their business cards anymore, because most people's business cards only have their name and phone number and email if they're lucky. So
thank you for sharing that. I've never added that bottom part, kind of like a pre-qualifier.
It does. It pre-qualifies, okay. But it also helps you in the follow-up. And
okay.
I have templates for that too, because you don't want to recreate the wheel, I'm telling you. All right, Jill, you're unmuted. Do you have a question?
Yes, Katrina, I just went onto your website and I did not see the February 22nd event on there. I'm confused as how we're supposed to sign up.
It is not on the website yet because I just booked the room today. And so I put a link in the chat room, but you're not on the chat. It is a tiny URL. So it's tinyurl.com/GSS, like Get Started Speaking, GSS February 2019. So GSS Feb 2019. And that'll give you a $97 early bird ticket for Friday, February 22nd. Bless you. And
okay.
So the only link I have is that. There's no web page for it yet, but I can tell you I'm going to be walking through the 6 steps in depth, and that's what we're going to be working on. So you're prepared, you're positioned, and you're ready to propel for
awesome.
Yeah. And I'll have all the templates there. You'll bring your laptop, we'll get it done and work on the stuff there. So yeah.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Would love to have you. Any other questions? No? Anybody have any questions about the meetup in general that maybe doesn't attend the luncheons normally, or these webinars, or maybe speaking, in case you didn't see that I do take speakers for these webinars and the luncheons as well.
Hi, Katrina. This is Barbara.
Yes, I do have a question. It is,
okay, Karan,
it is regarding the.
Yeah.
Okay.
Karan?
Okay, so yes, the question was about the speaking gigs. Is there a certain amount of time or a time limit that you would say that the gig should last for, the talk?
For your
I'm just
talk?
wondering how long the content would be. Like, I understand the length depends on the kind of speech. The keynote is shorter than the regular presentation, right? So can I know the different timelines for each type of talk?
It depends on the gig you get. I mean, I can't tell you unless I know where you're going to speak. So you get booked to speak and they'll tell you how long it is. So you
they tell you. Okay.
Prepare for your talk. Now, what you can do is you can prepare for maybe an hour talk, but also then be prepared to cut it in half, right?
Right.
So most of the local area things are 20 to 30 minutes. Sometimes you're lucky if you can get 45. Right? Now, if you do your own webinar, like say you did, this webinar tonight was slightly off agenda. Like usually I have an agenda for this webinar where it's introductions and then I talk about things with the meetup, and then we have a speaker for 10 minutes, right? And then I come in and do maybe a little training, and then we do like a mastermind at the end, but I kind of jumbled that all together into Get Started Speaking topic. And so you want to have, so you can create your own speaking gig. You can do our webinars every month if you want to. When I first started speaking, I did a teleclass. It was before video. I did a teleclass every single month, and I just picked a topic. So all those topics you see on my speaker sheet is because I've done topics and teleclasses on them. And then if you do that and people come live, then you can make an offer if you want to, but you can also put the recording out there, and that can be a great freebie. So people can opt in at any time and hear the recording on your website once you've done the talk live. So you can develop a lot of content that way. And so you can practice your talks. I recommend you do your own teleclasses or webinars. And if you do a teleclass with no video, then you can just basically read it, right? If you want to, just don't sound like you're reading it. But that's how I started. That's how I started. It was, I had an article on a topic, a long article, and then I would just read it on a teleclass, and that's my first speaking opportunities that I created for myself. And nowadays you could do Facebook Live, you could do a 20-minute Facebook Live, give a quick tip. Just make sure you're interacting with people and you're sending them somewhere after on the video.
Right. Thank you.
Yeah, and then Barbara, you had a question?
No, it wasn't actually a question. It was just, this was great. I am so glad that I came onto this.
Oh, good.
And I'm going to be on the WPN call in the morning too. So I look forward to hearing you again. So now the tomorrow event, on this email you sent me, there's a link to get onto that, right?
For WPN or?
No, tomorrow. You said there's something tomorrow?
I'm doing the WPN call at 6 a.m. and then I'm doing a website business planning webinar. It's a 2-part series. It's a paid thing. It's $57. And I put the link in the chat room. It's it's not anywhere you can find on my website. It literally is a hidden page because I just created it and I'm just throwing out there to a few folks. So it's the links in the chat for that. It's on my website, but so that's a 2-part planning, and it's gonna be on Zoom, and I'm gonna have to figure out how to flip my computer around so I can stand up with my flip chart over there and work out some flip chart stuff and really just, yeah. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, but I think that was in the email that you sent me. But then my next question is, you were talking before about the technical aspects. Do you ever do a Zoom call? Because like I live in Chicago, I'm not in Sacramento.
Yeah.
So do you do like a Zoom on doing those technical things?
Most of that I would do on a one-on-one call. You could book a one-on-one with me, and we could actually go into the back end of all your technology, and I could show you what to do. I also have tutorials. So depending on what software you use, I've already taught a client it, and I have a saved tutorial video of it, depending on what it is. And then I have 2 more master classes coming up. So a master class is like this Zoom, but 2 hours of me, and it's pretty much just open Q&A. So it's laser coaching. So there's no agenda. It's whoever comes. It's a $79 investment for that 2 hour, and it's basically laser coaching. And so sometimes there's only like 5 or 6 people. Sometimes there's 8 or 10. And I have 2 more left this year, and then I probably won't offer that again. Actually, for next year, I'm going to do something different. But November 30th or December 14th are the 2 dates left. And they are on the website under events. It's called my masterclass. So it's jumpstartyourmarketing.com/masterclass by Corey. And that you can sign up for either one. And that's where I could, if it's something short or something everybody needs to know, I mean, I can do a screen share on that and show you back into stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. And so if it's something common like WordPress, One Shopping Cart, Constant Contact, Aweber, MailChimp, social media, I can do any of that on a masterclass. Yeah. If that's helpful.
Yes, that's perfect.
Inexpensive ways to really get more stuff, more understanding. I'm all about that. And then for those who need a lot of stuff, you know, they usually end up working with me in a different way. But yeah.
Perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions or comments or ahas or proclamations? Anybody know their talk now just from sitting here?
Yes, this was definitely a very informative session. For me personally, I was taking my notes as we were giving tips, and I definitely got a good head start from this meeting. Thank you.
Well, great. Awesome. Well, I'll send the recording out to the list probably tomorrow or the next day once I get it all uploaded and all that in the chat room, because you guys were pretty active on the chat room. If you didn't put anything in the chat room, make sure it's over there, because that's the only way they know you're here. And with your links. Does anybody have any other speaking gigs coming up that they want to share, or an event or anything? Johnny. Oh, who's Johnny and then Renee? Oh.
Unmuted?
Yep.
There you go. Okay, and so I'm going to do a small workshop here in Roseville. I've taken the there's a little conference room in Rayleigh's. This is just kind of a way to get my list going, and it's going to be called Possibilities, Confidence to Move Forward, and it's going to be an hour and a half, $27, and that's my first talk here in Roseville. I'm going to do another one in Reno, December. Oh no, wait a minute, November 16th in Reno at the Reno Rising Event Center. And then the one in Roseville is December 11th. I think I put it in the chat room.
Yeah, I think you did.
Yeah. So you go to my website. There's a little button up there, and you can click on it. It'll take you right to a link, and it's $27. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. And then I'll do another one. I'm going to do a Kickstart Your Life 4-hour workshop in January. I have the date, but I don't have all the details yet.
Awesome.
So I'm stepping out in faith.
Yeah, you just got to throw it on the wall, right? And like today, I was sitting in a meeting this morning at this place called Time and Space in Roseville. Some of you might know it. And I'm like, I've been wanting to do a Get Started speaking seminar one day. And I'm like, this might be a good spot. 30 people fit in here. I could even get a couple sponsors. I'm like, how much is the room? Okay, book it. February 22nd. We got a date. And then I literally went and put it in my shopping cart. There's no webpage yet. You know, maybe what I'll do is I'll put this video in there and showcase all of you as well. And they can listen to this so they can want to come to that. So that's what you do. You just kind of do it, right?
Yeah, that's where I'm getting to right now. So
Yeah, good.
Money, money, money.
You have something coming up?
Yes. So we have launched the Silver Lining Network, which is a community-centered meetup. And it's on the 15th. It's our second meeting. The topic, again, we're focusing on the caregivers that are out taking care of their elders, or maybe their disabled loved ones, or even someone that's living in a family with some addiction issues. So our topic, we have a panel that's coming in, and we're going to talk about handling being a caregiver during the holidays, and how do we actually handle that additional level of activity in our lives and still are able to manage being a caregiver. So this is our second meeting. Our first one was really successful. It's a meetup. It's going to be held in Fair Oaks. And everybody knows somebody that's at home providing care, or maybe you're providing care yourself. And we have a great group of people, experts, coming into these meetings and giving us tools and some coping skills to be able to move through this time in our life. The other thing that I'm getting ready to launch is called Morning Rise Up. And again, I've been in the care business for over a decade now. And then one of the things that happens is oftentimes things go bump in the night, and we're up all night long, and we wake up in the morning and we have our cup of coffee and we think, what the heck was that? And so I'm going to kick off a 15-minute just Zoom meeting, Morning Rise Up, where we'll come in, we'll talk about whatever happened during the night, we'll allow some of the people to decompress and launch your day with a whole different set of mindset, and kind of leave all of that behind. So I'll be launching that in December. So kind of keep an eye out for that. So those are my two. Katrina has inspired me to start these community funnels, and those are my two list building efforts that I'm working on right now. So
fantastic.
Thank you. And I appreciate you so much.
Oh, you're so
You know
awesome.
that. I tell you that every time I see you.
Thank you. Awesome. There's a lot of networking opportunities out there, you guys. If you guys need to know where to go to network and get in, with more people, please reach out, because I can't, there's no time, there's not enough time for me to tell you everything that's going on in the universe in this area. So, anybody have anything else that they want to announce?
Katrina, can I ask you?
Barbara?
Yeah. How do you find other virtual
virtual meetings?
Like the virtual meetups. I looked in my meetups and there was nothing of virtual. Because you are a meetup group. Are you through meetup.com?
Right. So when you have a meetup, which is an in-person event on meetup.com, you can add a webinar component as an additional meeting, but you can't have webinars only or virtual only. So there's not a lot of people doing virtual and in-person on Meetup that I've found. But there are a lot of organizations, if you belong to things like Women's Prosperity Network, or there's another group called Polka Dot Powerhouse, and they do some webinars and Zoom calls like this. If you're into women's groups, what other kind of prospects are you looking for?
Well, that's it. Yeah, that's like women in business. Like I want to do like families, communication in families and that kind of stuff. So.
Yeah, I'd have to probably do a little bit more research with you. You might benefit from a call where we can really kind of brainstorm on more lead generation and where to get in front of people and how to where to focus your time.
What was that polka dot thing? Polka dot what?
Polka Dot Powerhouse. I'm speaking on their platform. I think it's next week. Let me look. Why do I have to wear glasses?
Yeah, I did have the opportunity. I was just interviewed from the Co-op Network here, and they're here in Chicago, but they're all over the country. And that was just such a blast to do that.
Fun. So Polka Dot Powerhouse is similar to Women's Prosperity Network, similar to eWomen Network. They're all women's organizations, right? And they all have a different kind of vibe. And this is the button where you want to go, polkadotpowerhouse.com, and then you want to go, what is Polka Dot Live Online Open House? And you can just sign up for a free call, even if you're not a member, and you just sign up for one of their free calls, and it gives you a bunch of different dates, and you can check it out and see if you like it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, I want to join eWomen too. So.
Yeah, eWomen Network. Sandra has teleclasses and webinars on GoToWebinar, so they're not as interactive. I don't ever get on her calls, even though she's fantastic. I don't get on her calls because I can't interact. I want to go where I can interact. So I really love Zoom calls because when I'm a guest on a call, I'm like you guys. I'm all here on the chat room and talking to people, right? And you want to be looking at each other and seeing if how you can help each other and maybe connect with each other and take a relationship offline and then see where you can go from there. So you really do want to look at other people's links, and you really want to go to their websites, and then you want to email them and say, hey, I saw you on Katrina's call and blah, 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 and start a relationship and see how you can help each other. So I love Zoom like for that. Yeah. And I just realized somebody asked a question.
I had a question, Katrina.
Yeah.
And Jill.
Yeah.
I didn't catch the information for the lady who spoke about starting the Zoom thing for caretakers in December.
Okay.
I have someone I know who could use that. What is her contact info?
That was Renee.
Okay.
And you'll get the recording of this with the chat room content. So it could be that you look it up later, but it's reneecompany.com.
Okay,
I thought it was Renee and Company, but she wrote in here Renee Company.
Okay.
Yeah, and she's local. Somebody asked about Zoom or GoToMeeting. The reason I use Zoom is because what you're seeing here is $14.99 a month, and GoToMeeting is $50 or more per month for similar stuff. And GoToMeeting is not well, I don't know if it is for sure or not a video platform like this. I think it's more just webinar platform. But when you're doing Zoom, you can do their webinar version, but you don't need the webinar version. You can just do a screen share. Now, if you don't care if, like, I'm showing you my screen and I go here and then I switch around and I do all this stuff, I mean, that you're seeing screenshots, right? You're not seeing a cohesive webinar necessarily when you see my screen. So that's the difference. But I could also just have a PowerPoint up and nothing else showing on my desktop, and then screen share, and then boop, go to PowerPoint, and then it's a webinar. I mean, personally, I like to cut the monthly expenses down, and that's why I use Zoom. All right, I'll be on your meeting tomorrow morning. Renee, good, okay. Cool. Zoom has a webinar version. Yeah, and I don't add that, but you don't see the guests, and you can add many more guests. You can have, for $15, you can add unlimited. I think it's up to 100 people. But honestly, I've never gotten more than 100 people on a webinar, so why do I want to pay $54 if I don't have to? So I don't use the webinar version. All right. Lots of opportunity. Looks like CEO Space is having an event. Fresh Inspiration is on November 15th. If you were looking at eWomen in your local, there's an eWomen event on Friday the 16th, I want to say. Lots of stuff going on, so cool. And great seeing everyone. Gotta go. Okay. Anything else? You guys good? All right. Thanks for showing up and hanging out later, and we'll see you next time. There's one, I don't really know. You'll have to watch the emails from the meetup about the December events. Usually I don't do a lot in December for these but I'll probably still do a webinar, and I don't have a speaker, so I'm going to have to look and see who I want to bring in as a speaker. I was going to do, I don't think the speaker off is going to happen because I really only got like 3 or 4 people who want to do a talk in person. I was trying to do like a 8-speaker one-day thing. Nobody signed up, so whatever. So I'm not going to put one together. Anyways, so we'll probably still do a webinar in December, and then we'll bring it back with live events in January. And I might send out a survey too, so please fill out the survey if you wouldn't mind when you see it, okay? Thanks, you guys. Have a good night. Bye.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thanks, Katrina.
Bye.